Warm welcome, ladies and gentlemen, here to third day here of week 3, phase 3 for PELs. We're back for the final day here of the week. My name's James Carroll. Normally I don't introduce myself like that, but I'm going to this time. And to my left-hand side, I have Froz and I have Avenger. Boys, it's the final day of the week. The big five still stands strong up at the top, but just by a smidge, because N47's been giving people a run for their money.
Yeah, I mean, N47 have been doing really good. We saw them even take the 5th place yesterday for just one game. Then G2 took it back, but it's only 3 different points difference for them right now.
So they're extremely close, and obviously N47 is either, so they told you that their ambitions was not as high as it should be. You told them they should go further. They were aiming for top 8, which is in the money. And you told them go into the top 5. I would like to see them take it whole, like everything just home and win the phase for them to take the PGC spot.
So I talked a little bit more with them today, actually, just to see, hey, what's going on? Why are you guys not winning games? What's actually happening in the end? Because we know that they get to the end game, but when they're there, they can't finish it off. So apparently they're having a little bit of chaotic comms towards the end. It gets a little bit hectic and stuff like that. And they're going to try to relax on that one and just try to focus more on just playing the game, take it simple. And basically that's the game plan for them to grab that first chicken dinner here.
Are you their unofficial mascot? How much time are you spending with these boys? You told them that they can go higher than top 8. You said top 5. Yeah. And now you're saying, oh, you know, this is how you kind of iron things out at the end.
Well, I kind of spend like every day with the players here, right? Yeah. So you get to talk with a lot of the players. Also talk with them when I'm at home as well.
Yeah, fair. Okay.
And on top of that, they have 1 more kill than FaZe Clan so far. So they've been able to frag out a lot. I would like to see them continue. As you say, if they're able to take a chicken, if they're able to convert kind of their, because they get into the end game a lot. They do get a lot of kills. They position themselves really well, but when you get to the end game, then they either don't third party or they don't engage in positions or in rotations where they put themselves in position to win and stuff like this. But still, I still see them as a very successful team considering they are a contender team last phase.
Definitely. They've
been doing extremely well. And I'm proud of how far they've come already.
I think the most impressive thing for me, whilst we just kind of continue on the N47 train for a moment, is the fact that it feels to me, and I'm not 100% sure if the numbers do back this up, which you can check in for me, Froz, is they feel consistent across all maps. They feel like, it feels like their consistent performance is coming in on Miramar, on Sandhawk, on Erangel. How do the numbers reflect
So
on
the
that?
thing is, we saw from the start that they were doing really good on Sandhawk, and they will keep on doing really good on Sandhawk. But when it comes to Erangel, they've been doing better. In the start, Miramar and Erangel was super bad for them. Actually, Miramar is not bad at all right now for them. But Erangel is still not the best, and they still need to work on that one. But overall, it's still not bad at all, though.
Makes a lot of sense.
We also saw them yesterday again. Miramar positioned himself well, sweep the zone well, but didn't manage to get a chicken dinner from it. But managed to get a lot of points from it.
I mean, we also saw last week when they had this middle circle, and they were kind of just jumping back and forth through 2 compounds and nothing really happened.
Let's take a look at the shifts and moves here from our week standing so far. 9th through 16th, a few moves here and there. DESPERADO's has been the one to really win out on the situations, moving themselves up to 11th place. That's 3 spots up. If they were to continue that, they would be avoiding relegation. Very, very important towards the later end.
But only 14 points difference from DESPERADO and down to ENCE. So these teams here, 2 of these teams are really fighting to get out of the kind of the bottom. Mitraleius and 7 Esports, they're currently kind of stuck down there. They need to catch up and need to do a lot better compared to what they've been doing so far if they want to really get out of that spot here. But look at this Ninjas, guys, so far in this week. 85 points. Just impressive how far and how well they've been doing so far.
Definitely so. Great moves from them, great strides from them. Our top 5, the big 5, does still sit supreme up towards the top. And beyond just it being the big 5 here, I do want to ask you guys, halfway through our season as a whole, did you expect TSM to be #1, considering that they are now #1 at halfway through the phase?
I wouldn't say #1 perhaps, but I would still put them on top 5 overall. Especially picking up Iroh, I feel like that's a really good pickup, but also the addition of DITZ. What surprised me is that how quick they actually adjusted to those 2 pickups and made it work so quickly with the team itself.
Yes, indeed. And on top of that, I want to say Liquid, we just saw them previously. We saw them. They've fallen some places here, and only 40 points so far in these 2 days here. I really want to see them step up today and be able to take home a win or 2 to kind of come back.
Well, even if they only have 40 points so far, it's not too bad. Well, it's kind of bad at one way, but at the same time, because the worst week was the first week, which they had 113 points, which they need to have 73 more today to catch up to that. But the big thing is G2 actually. They had a wonderful first week, but then it's been dropping off like drastically.
Severely, yeah.
There is a bit of a fall from the big five this week, but Liquid and, as you say, G2 are the two that kind of stick out. Of course, we've got 5 games even, I should say, sorry, coming at you today here, starting on Miramar, going to Samhawk, and then finally Erangel. Liquid for me across the last 2 days, I think it was a 9th place in the first day, 14th place in the second day. We expect nigh on excellence, a standard from Liquid.
But from the big five in general, FaZe Clan only have 11 more points than Liquid. G2 only have 12 more points than Liquid in this week so far. On the other hand, TSM is sitting with 53 more points in this week compared to Liquid. This is also one of the reasons why TSM has jumped up. Na'Vi is doing consistently good as well. They're in 75 points so far. Last week, including with all 3 days, they had 86. So they need to get 9 more points today. Or 11 more points to beat that.
With 6 weeks available to you here in Phase 3, how many trip-up weeks can you really have if you're looking to even challenge for
how many
trip-up weeks? Like not very good weeks, considering that the schedule is now more compact.
You can have maximum 1, I'd say. Maximum 1. But it can't really be super bad either. It needs to be kind of average. If you are the big five, if you are the top team of PL, you can't have that happening to you. And that's what we're seeing right now in a few teams of the top right now. They're having that week all together right now. And
which is making it pretty spicy for the rest, right? Yes. Na'Vi and TSM is making a caution for themselves. Some of our team is kind of catching up. We saw N47 jump into the 5th spot for a few games and then swapping out afterwards after G2 had a good game. So it's making it interesting. But also we saw in Phase 2, we saw it came down to the very last end. We saw some shuffles in the top on the very last days. And we saw a shuffle in our mid pack jumping into Knights, taking the GLL spot. So I would say, like, even though we're soon halfway through, we're still in for some really exciting games and some really exciting times throughout the phase.
Talking about all these teams, Reciprocity last week did really, really good. They had a supreme week, and I mean, so far this week, they're kind of on the old Reciprocity step again. It's not doing really good. We expect more from them, especially with the new lineup as well. We saw them last week, what they can do, but they're not showing that to us right now.
So 58 points so far in this week. They had 47 in the week number 1, which is very disappointing. And then had a really great week last week where they managed to get 112. If they have a good week, good day today, and kind of get an average of like an 85 and 90, maybe a plus 100, that'd be really great to see. And they would be also kind of contesting for that top 6 and maybe for some of the PGC spots as well.
Of course, at home, you can be involved in everything that is going on as well by using the hashtag AskPEL. You can ask us questions here, and then the lovely Avenger will read out some of those questions for you. He will beckon them down. He has a question. Coo it down. Come on, bring it to me, Martin. What is it?
What do you think about Team Liquid's performance today? So,
wait, first of all,
that was a question
yesterday.
Yeah, that was actually the first day because I saw that. So it was after the first day in which you had a rough day, and yesterday they also had a rough day. So let's just talk in general. Let's take both days. What do you think so far? Every team can hit some bad games. We've said it consistently, Frost and I. 30% of your games is going to be 0 point or 1 point day or 1 point game. And that's considered a bad game. Yes, there's some middle, you'll have 2 3s, that's fine. But 0 1 point, it's a bad game. And 30%-ish of your games will be bad. Liquid decided, you know what? Let's just have a bad week. We'll do everything here, everybody else catch up, and then
still for now.
The next weeks, we're gonna have some really good weeks and kind of jump back. Also, our circles have been very unpredictable. We've had a lot of ping-ponging. We've had a lot of tendencies we haven't seen before, so maybe they haven't been as prepared for those kind of circles as they are for our usual ones.
Do you also feel like they've not been in the greatest position as well? James being slightly sick, it doesn't help the situation.
James being slightly sick is not the big thing. The big thing for me is that I feel like their rotations is not on point, and the gunfight is not on point either. When we see them take the fights, they definitely are not on point that they used to be or usually are, that they don't get the trades, that they don't win the first engagement, stuff like that, which we normally see Liquid do, and that's the big surprise, and that's why they're down there. The synergy is just not there in the game this week.
So they've got the flu IRL, basically.
Well, the thing is, outside the game, they're still having the good synergy and stuff, so it's nothing about the team that is affected like player-wise, I'd say.
No, but when, as James, obviously being one of the best players in the world, when you're not winning your 1v1s and everything, that could also like affect your communication. Obviously, I know they're very professional and everything, but still, when you lose 1v1s, we saw the pull-up on Digital Legs yesterday when they lost 3 1v1s, and we usually never see this stuff from them. But again, honestly, I want to see them wrap this up week. I want to see whatever they can come out of this week, fair enough, and then go home, put James back in his contamination booth so he can stay there until he's done, and then they can come back next week and then show what they're usually doing, because we've never seen them, or we have the last 2 weeks, we've seen them have a plus 100 weeks, which is a really good week.
The thing is, you can see as well, they're not worried. They have Tanner in the back there calling them out, hey, we need to do this, we need to do that. And I mean, it's just good for them in one way, because they can just keep on chasing the #1 team, which is what they like to do.
And Team Reciprocity yesterday came off the back of a winning day in total, getting themselves a first place, a third place, a fourth place. They had 2 games, we'll talk about those later. But obviously, that was a very good day for Reciprocity. But one thing is for sure, that yesterday, it was possibly one of the most average days in PEL history.
Very linear in terms of points, not like a high jumper, and not a very like kind of low games. Our worst was actually FaZe Clan with 12 points. And after that 7 and 13, so it's a very kind of flat day, but also many of our top teams had kind of average or below average days, and some of our mid-pack teams had some really good days, like Reciprocity did, Desperados did, so it's good to see these guys kind of step up and have a above average day like they did.
I mean, if you look at FaZe Clan, for example, they had 12 points yesterday. 8 of those points came from the last 2 games on Erangel. Once again, salvaged by the Erangel games. They can't do that, though. They need to step it up a little bit more on Miramar, on Sanhok. They're actually one of the best teams on Sanhok, but that didn't show yesterday, of course.
You can see all of our players here just getting ready, gearing up here to get into our first games of the day. Gentlemen, before we go in, it is time, actually. Never mind, I was going to get some more opinions, but we're going for it. We are getting into game number 41. The plane is in the air, and we're heading to the desert. It's time for Miramar. We'll head over to Rich and Pansy for all of the PUBG action.
Thank you, and obviously, what a brilliant way to start the day. Nice points hit upon there. I'm glad to see some criticism of Liquid yesterday. Yes, they did give you the, well, one of the players was sick, but I do want to look at that refragability if we see that again. A lot of those individual fights being lost out on, but no one trading back into them. I want to keep an eye on that, because Liquid, such a good team. There's no taking away from them, but we hold them to a high standard, so I want to keep that in mind going forward. But hello, guys in chat. How are you guys doing? Watching at home around the world. It's good to have you here. We are on Miramar. Rich, where are your eyes going to?
Where are my eyes going to? It's going to have to kind of follow on from what the Des mentioned about what they like to call now the Big Five. Your Liquid, Na'Vi, G2, FaZe Clan. It's and TSM. It wasn't a great day for them all yesterday. They all finished overall outside of the top 10. The good thing that it kind of does to our league structure and point structure is the fact that it now opens it up for all the lesser teams below that to make their mark and to try and shuffle things up in the top 8. You can. There's room for maneuverability around there. There's room for, you know, Desperados, Reciprocity to make it up to the top 8 and start pushing further. Because at the end of the day, regardless of whether you're actually making it to PGC or not, there's still a hell of a lot of money on the line.
Exactly that. And I know you're looking slightly below that kind of top end spot or kind of the first half of the league, but I'm looking at NIP recently, and I'm loving what they're bringing to this. Their play just yesterday and the day prior, I'm really enjoying how they're performing. And for me, they're a team that if they keep that up can be so exciting going forward. We'll see if that becomes a consistent element. ENCE, very different approach, and that's paid off in a circle like this, isn't it? They're down where I wish it would go, down in prison, basically where Break is when he gets off and skins for a pistol.
You had to do it, didn't you?
It's going to happen throughout today. It's fine.
Oh, dear.
He's already in chat trying to bait people to be like, hey, woe is me.
Circle all the way down to the south. Los Leones is rather open, and that just goes hand in hand with the plane path. It's not too bad when you talk about rotations and stuff. You will probably see the usual suspects, your TSM, your G2. They like to take this more easternly approach around Los Leones, even go a bit deeper and further afield. FaZe Clan could be a difficult one. You've got 2 choices to make there. You either take the main road head on and get quite central and square up against the teams that'll already be there, or maybe they run the gauntlet and go to the darker hillsides.
But you know, I'm quite happy to see FaZe back on this side. I know they switched up their drops a little bit yesterday. Purely maybe playing path was a huge element in that, and I don't mind them having to be responsive, and I quite like a team who's willing to change, but clearly it affects their rotations and clearly affects how they come into the circle, because you know who's around you when you're playing out of an area. You know how they're going to enter the circle. So I kind of want to see them back in familiar territory to see how they approach the circle now, if there's adjustments, if it's cleaner, if they look a little bit better off, because we had that Fuzzface moment on the first day back, and we were like, all right, here we go, game on. And then it got quiet again. So I'm hoping we see more from them, but certainly not easy with so many hungry teams here now.
And not with them, you getting 10 points over 5 games. I mean, fair enough. It's, 10 kills over 5 games, 12 points in total. So 2 from placement. Tells a bigger story of how things were going yesterday. There's certain scenarios, especially with one on Erangel, where you just see 2 players running to the blue. Things just didn't go well. And some days, look, if it's not your day, it's not your day. It just happens. You get those when you jump online. It's like every single time you just drop, you're dead. Yeah. After 20 games, nothing changes. You have these days. And it's how you bring them into the next one. It's how you brush them aside, go away. And the sign of a good team is going back and looking, okay, what went wrong?
Exactly. I think that's what I'm looking at with a lot of these teams now, is that adjustment throughout. Now the thing is, of course, with a lot of these teams having coaches, having analysis beside them, a lot of them will be able to go back, have really good feedback, and then come back in. So it's not like everyone's going to just suddenly succeed because they've done it, but it keeps you up to par. It means you don't keep falling back and back and back. Your game keeps adjusting and being kind of productive and fluid, similar to Snark's driving here. Beautifully done. Just wedging it, didn't you?
Someone give us a bump. Come on, someone come and give us a bump or a pickup.
Oh, Break just DM me saying thank you for those kind words. I really appreciate it. That's nice. That's nice. Can't wait for that Uzi skin though. Really nice. Thanks, PUBG. That SMG meta now.
It's part of the meta. It's fine.
Exactly. It's really kind.
Everything is fine.
That's good.
TSM still looting away, but a few of them are going to be opting to move here. I can see Ira already going further afield, and same with Rory. Jimbo already under fire, already taking bullets. Bless him. There is a response to an absolutely blistering response from Jempty. Don't touch my son. It's as simple as that. Stay away from him. Leave him alone. And you know what? This actually now may force the engagement, Laura. Look at him. Jimbo instantly.
He's
Andy
going.
Beether.
Go on,
shoot us, boys. Let's get stuck in. I like this.
Show me good trades. Show me good trades.
Come on, boys.
No. This either could be brilliant or dumb. I love aggression, but it has to be done well, and Liquid can do it well. So I want refrags. I want good positioning. I want it to go well for them. GamerLegion are on the run. They're running away from this. James is in the doorway already. In he goes, and down goes GamerLegion. Where's the next follow-up? They're quaking. They're shaking in the corners. They're trying to find cover, and I don't blame them. Suddenly, Liquid are looking deadly. They've got a fire underneath them, and it's burning as Jempty now breaches. A little bit sloppy to go into that, but he hasn't been completely flushed. I'm waiting for the refrags. Ibby's in place. That's good positioning. Here comes that utility. That looks good. Vex.
It's on the stairs.
I don't know if it's because of that vertical element. It won't actually affect him. No, it doesn't. But it does buy them time for the revive. Hamsters being third party. That might be the Desperados nicking that one too. Actually, no, well, they knocked him, but they might get the full flush. Samty now coming in. Both of the GamerLegion players completely locked in. Samty's nade could potentially get both.
If he gets it on the stairs, he will connect, and that'll be the go sign, but you've still got another player to worry about. It's okay fixating and looking towards the person inside the tower, but I don't think they realise where Bjorn is. Strikes in the back, they push through,
they got to push
it.
They have to keep pushing. They can't just get overwhelmed on the stairs. If they kind of get caught up, they're going to be completely mowed down. Bjorn can be a nuisance because he's just a one-man player. He's just playing for himself now, playing for survival. If he can just squash Liquid's hopes, that's big, and he's doing just that. Jempty's gone down. Flush comes in. It is a trade back in for Jeems, so that will be Bjorn shut down. But let's look at what they lost here. They lost down Jempty, but they got a full squad wipe, pretty much one steal from the Desperados. Nice work. I wanted to highlight if they traded. They did. It was good enough. Yes, losing our player can happen, but the positioning kind of allowed that to come through. There's nothing more you could have done.
And in those individual scenarios where you are the last man standing, you are looking for anything you can do, you will instantly go for the flush. You'll fixate onto that player, make sure he's dead, make sure you at least get 1 point in the bag. Because if it would have been without response, it's kind of disappointing. It's disappointing anyway to go out so early. I mean, there's a fair few times now, I've got to say it, we've seen GamerLegion this week always with the initial players dead. Bjorn, I think we've seen twice initially, first game, first player. It's looking a little bit rough. But this now talks a bigger picture. Are Liquid feeling it? Are Liquid saying, okay, we've got points to make up,
that was a
so
nice
we
shot.
need to get stuck in and we need to play this one aggressively?
Yeah, yes and no. I want to look at the positioning they gained for it as well. Was it worth it? Probably. Very central on the map. It's a highly sought-after position. So you look at the risk-reward. Yes, they lost out on a player. They did get the squad wipe. I'm going to at least give them credit for that, even though it was a steal in the end. But the ground they've got here is really, really nice. So you want to talk about their rotations, how they've approached it before. People have been questioning it. This is good from them. Desperados get put in a bit of a predicament now. They could get the attention from FaZe, who are on the low ground. Nice little shots coming out from Ibby. Not sure if he's going to get the flush, and TSM on rotation. They're going to have a bit of a rough route because they're coming from the north where a lot of the teams were. They're working their way down south, and they might want something quite nice here. They might be trying to vie for a bit of a tasty spot.
Bigger picture out of that whole engagement, it's the position of the circle. They have been rewarded with a central point. They can play off the back of that now. They can use it to the best of their ability. Okay, we don't know where it's going to go further afield, but right now they're going to be close no matter where it goes. The Desperados are kind of in no man's land. Many teams have been woken up to the fact that there are players in the fields. If you want to call them fields at the moment, it's a barren wasteland.
Ugh.
And the teams will be laying waste to Desperados.
Yeah, they're being picked apart. I liked what they were doing with the potential fight towards Liquid, but the problem is with so many teams vying for this area, you highlighted it. It's going to be everyone looking their way. They're in the open. There isn't that much terrain cover here. So you're going to be kind of pulled in every direction, and they've been punished for it. So it looks like they're going to have to fall back to that initial compound, get themselves back with, I think, just potentially 2 players at the end of it. Big loss for very little reward, unable to convert onto any of those shots towards Liquid, got picked apart by the Knights further off towards the north themselves. And I think the Knights are holding a 2-2, if I'm not mistaken, themselves. So quite bold from them in such a central spot. And it's, of course, why a lot of these teams are going for it. You think about it, it's going to move north eventually regardless, just because of that water being there. It's a matter of how far. Touch of Los Leones still in the circle. CrowCrowd having a bit of an issue. We are going to see all the teams shift a little further towards the east, I'm sure.
We're very fixated on the action, and so be it. That's what we need to be doing. As a follow-up as well, I do want to call NIP lost 2 members during their transition. Krabic was traded off as well from 7th. They've lost 1. GMT shot saw go down from the side of Liquid. And Desperados also. TSM, huge casualty. Ira, the man who can, big damage dealer for TSM, has been lost. So we've had quite a few drops across various different teams. Everyone looking a little bit rough here and there. Still, centralized position. Let's catch up. FaZe Clan, they're happy, 4 alive. They did come down from where they were. They took the southern side. They came across the darker hills, and they've got a nice little bit of terrain to play with. Same goes for M47, but they are rather close, so they have to be careful. Scuffles down in the south. Would you believe it? G2 coming out below Los Leones. You all have to expect it. I'd also expect ENCE to be predicting that, and that's where they are set up on the side of the road. They've split off, which gives SKUIJKE a bit more of an aerial view of who will be coming towards them, and they have to be careful because in that one scenario, you won't really go for the compound where he is. That's why he is on his own. You won't commit more than really 2 more men to it if you want to go, regardless of this circle. There's other better places to be. But if they hold this compound, the circle's favourable to them. They'll be able to withdraw, get back as a team of 4, and hold that compound down as a unit.
And I want to look at NIP here. They're in a real bad problem. You already highlighted and mentioned they were down to 2 as it was, and I think it's just MBS now, and he's pulling up right towards the Knights. Draden's already here. Reels is already here. That probably should be a pickup. I don't know where he can go. Desperado's just off towards the side.
It's smoking. Oh, no.
This doesn't look very good for old MBS, does it? He's down to clutching at straws. I am a bit worried about Liquid's positioning. They have put Jeems out on his own here. Now, he is seeming to hold ground for now. It does seem like a compound that could get attention down the line. We'll get to that. MBS does make it away for now. He's going to be into survival mode pretty much for the rest of this game. N47 working their way through. They're coming in kind of from the south. Very, very central little spot here too. Not bad for them either. Quite a good little position to work into. And these guys did lose out on Page. We saw that spray earlier. Caught them off on that. But they're sitting in a really good spot. Another one of those teams who came in have surprised a couple of people. But now they're in a bit of a battle with Jeems. He's the one-man band who wants to show off a lot. He wants to show that he's maybe bigger than he is. And he's going to be sitting right slap bang in the middle of this circle.
We'll keep a track of MBS because sometimes when you see these solo snakes and all that's on the line is quite literally placement points, they go very quiet, then you'll see them strike in the late game. Because they're the individual player, there's no reason to be going aggressive. You're not going to win these 1 versus 2 versus 3 versus 4 engagements. So you bide your time, you wait for the circle, you try and follow it through as slowly and as passively as humanly possible. But then all of a sudden they'll rear their head in the late game and a single player can cause a full team countless and endless amount of problems. They'll go for the engagement and then they'll choose their time to strike. That grenade looks excellent. Takes down Draden. Reels is damaged. He won't know that one just yet. And instantly, out with the smokes, away he goes. I don't think they'll make any advancement on this. They'll know they've got the initial knock, obviously, fallen through off the back of that. But it depends how many more grenades they have in the tank. TomiL going for an off angle. This could pay dividends.
Dangerous from Desperados. They are just down to 2. Na'Vi's the bigger threat now. They've kind of reared their heads from the top of the hillside over by Chumacera. Going to keep the Knights under pressure and probably unable to find Drayden comfortably. New circle hits, and James again still central. Reciprocity, nice position. They lost out on Scoom though. FaZe still comfy too. N47, good spot. It's a nice little position for these guys. Out though in the northwest, it's gonna get busy. It's gonna get a little bit too close for comfort. The Desperado is gonna have to try and keep the Knights away, ensure that maybe Na'Vi goes down towards FaZe potentially. SIMSY on the move. It looks like we're starting to see the pull through of the rotations, makes his way forward. Pretty safe for now. No one else going for those very centralized areas just yet.
And after how Desperados lost their 2 initial players, they'll be very cautious now, and they don't want to overextend and lose any more. By getting a little bit greedy, in my opinion, and going to a very barren area, they were taken down, they were punished for it. And now, stuck between a rock and a hard place, you've got the Knights up front and you've got Na'Vi in the back. You can't extend, you will get shot each way no matter where you look from it, because outside of that base, there's essentially nothing. There's a few dips and divots to play with, but nothing else. The Liquid play has worked, leaving Jimbo up there to be aggressive on his own, ward people off. It keeps them a good foothold in the map, and that's why they've now got themselves back together, and once again, they're still staying central.
But I'm just glad they've regrouped. I think we've started to get worried when they stuck in those kind of splits a little bit too long maybe and got caught when they're trying to pull up together. But I'm glad to see they're back all in the same sort of area. And when it's such a prime spot, you're going to have to. But I think N47 definitely had a couple of shots.
You mentioned this yesterday, though. Sometimes if you're feeling it and if a player can really be on fire that day, you can hold these individual 1v1 fights and these individual scenarios on your own. And maybe, just maybe, these last few days have been the kick up the backside that Liquid needed. We've seen how they started already. They've got 4 points in the bag. They wiped a squadron. Yes, you could say anyone can do that if you get lucky enough and you crack on with it. But still, good mentality to go into this game with, and so far it's kind of paying off.
Yeah, I think for me, I'm just cynical after seeing it being exploited so often now in PEL, the splits.
Yeah.
I think it's just it's that risk of, do we risk that you just kind of hold your own against a potential 4-man crash, or pull everyone together and maybe then lose out on that potential benefit of having those rotation routes available on the 2-2 split.
People are more confident, aren't they?
Absolutely.
When
people are willing to just crash these days. We saw it. I mean, the Knights benefited from it on Erangel. You think about that little hut?
Yep.
Just the feed coming in time and time again. But it's situational. Sometimes when it works, it's phenomenal. But then more often than not, at the moment, teams are willing to take the fight. For now, it looks like we've got somewhat of a settled circle position. It's not too abrasive to too many. I was looking at how Na'Vi were going to move away from the hillside in Chumacera. I was considering if they were going to go south, which has got the attention of FaZe. You saw those shots coming out. It is a 2-2 though, maybe working out what is the best option here. Where do we go? The issue being they were in that fight with the Knights earlier, so the north side rotation is very unlikely. I don't know what vehicles they have to work with now either.
ENCE's 3-1 has turned into a 2-2. It was good for that circle. They put one forward with SKUIJKE. Rustanmar moved up. But now it's pretty much all been thrown to pieces because all 4 members of ENCE will have to go deeper into the circle, and we are lacking territory. Desperados have a good foothold up towards the north. CrowCrowd and TSM, they'll basically hold each other at gunpoint. Where is DA
going?
There's nowhere really they can go for those 2 teams. DA, you could hit these literally where they are now. You can hit this side of the mountain, but the problem is you are exposed. However, once this circle closes in, there's nothing else really behind them, so they could take a hold on that and really make it their own.
I'm looking. I'm still going to keep my eyes on where they go. Mentor's found NELLOZ. That's going to alleviate some of the pressure. But I think ChrizZ had an off angle he does. That was kind of getting the tags towards mxey, who was peeking the ridgeline. So it's going to make it a little bit harder for razorEdge to be as decisive as they'd like to be if you're to springboard forward. You can see Yannis joining ChrizZ to supplement that kind of off angle. Lynxie's aware of it, but he looked a little late towards the peak on it. ChrizZ a little bit better off on that. Now Lynxie going down means it's even more open. razorEdge are being split between 2 sides. They may succeed against the 2 here if they get the right nade on it, but they'll probably lose out on the rotation. Now let's look at the bigger picture as we were looking at. It's NIP. MBS has gone down. He was the last man standing. They had that terrible pick off at the start, so a little bit unfortunate. Can't play the survival game anymore.
7 have crashed on to TSM, and unfortunately they've taken casualties from 2 different rosters. TSM managed to pull one up. Gustav did take one out initially, and then Scoom actually caught one on transition. So Reciprocity also yoinking a point away from that engagement. TSM currently do have 1 player left that they have to deal with, and if they get this quickly, they will be able to get Michael up, which will be good because they've already lost Ira. So to be able to take 3 into the final few circles will be wonderful for them. They're just trying to fathom out how to do it. You can see Raw recycling the grenade. If you manage to hit it, then it'll be go time. Go get the res, get the heal, and crack on with it.
And it's a weird, but it's a weird move, but I like this move. I'm looking at G2 as well here. They've left Yannis on his own. He is just here to basically lock out the south rotation for Razor Edge. The rest of G2 have gone down for the fight on towards ENCE. ENCE had 2 further south and they left 2 further north. They're having to pull all their resources to try and, I guess, bolster their defenses in the south side. So G2 is still being gate-kept, even though they left Yannis here to put Razor Edge in a really bad spot. Razor Edge might have to move towards Reciprocity. It's going to be a very hard choice. They do have at least a bike there. I don't know if they have more in the hillside. Yannis has a way out as well. I think both teams now are going to go, all right, we've got to just back away from this. And this is the other front for G2, and it's not gone well. ENCE turn up in droves. It was initially just 2 of them. The rest, SKUIJKE came over. I think Rustanmar came over and joined in as well, as everyone else is pulling up now. This is what I thought might happen. It's going to be Razor Edge and Reciprocity clashing out in the east. This is where they're forced to go towards.
Which I suppose you could ask yourself, why did Reciprocity not have more men looking at that hillside to come down? With how many buildings there are, it's easy in hindsight to ask these questions from my point of view of watching it, but I've expected 2 players to be able to take down a vehicle as it does approach those buildings. They have a really good foothold on it at the end of the day. And now they're kind of paying for it. They've lost Scoom. Monkey has just followed down. He's on his own, split away from the rest of the team. This is dangerous. They've allowed Razor Edge to approach this building and breach it. And now they've taken full control.
Yeah, they have, and it looks like Razor Edge have come off way better in this than G2 did. G2 went south, they found ENCE. ENCE have succeeded, got that done. New circle comes in, slightly to the east, but not by much. But the issue is, a lot of the teams were on the outskirts. This is the circle that's going to break or make a lot of them. mxey trying to hold on to this, look over, see if he can spot out where these guys are safely. Careful peeks on the windows, don't want to give away too much here, because Shiv and Udyr are still down there. I think Monkey is kind of just being left at this point, unable to be picked up or maybe helped out. But third party could really work out. That's from way up north.
Yeah, that's a decent range as well. Top of the circle's edge, where TSM still holding each other to ransom at the moment. Same goes over on the western side. Desperados hold the compound, and all 4 members, the Knights, are on their feet, and they are rushing the living hell out. I can see it on the map. Expect that to go down rather shortly. Same goes for FaZe Clan and Na'Vi. All these teams outside of the circle, really nowhere else to go, really no hard cover once you enter it. It's a bit of a struggle if you're on the outside of the circle at the moment.
Actually, little stalker. Really big shots there, and actually good positioning on the circle. Close in the rest of Na'Vi, but you could see the issue there. If you saw Pokemolodoy, I think it is, and maybe one of the others peek over that ridge, Bestlodge, they could get really good vision, so FaZe need to move fast. They'll have to push that one.
Fast.
They have to make that move now. Get rid of them before it happens. Get up close towards the low side of that hill. Otherwise, Na'Vi could have peeked the ridge. Aitzy's just better than Pokemolodoy, apparently. That 1v1 goes his way. Bestlodge, though, tries to keep up. ENCE going to be third party, and that's going to put pressure on him from the other side. FaZe sweep out, and now we've got to see if there's a third party. Razor Edge are moving forward. Reciprocity on the receiving end, and it looks like they've been done. That's going to be a big move from Razor Edge, well timed, and now they're going to have to look, where do we go from here? You have a beautiful death, you have DH to your right, you have ENCE in front of you, you have Liquid not far off. Razor Edge are in bad positions overall, but they're holding on here.
Desperados are essentially strangulating the Knights at the moment. Even though there's 4 of them, they're very scared to breach this church because they don't know where they're holding. In a 4 versus 2 scenario, you'd hoping maybe they're a bit more of a commitment and they just kind of rush that one, but clearly they want to keep more men alive for the end game, which is fair play. But they need to be quick about this and not get held by other teams as they do so. Here comes the final push. This will be the entry point.
Where's TomiL's angle here? Is he just holding the doorway push? I think so.
He's looking for the stairs, isn't he? I suppose he can drop down as well if they need support from the back lines wanted. If TomiL keeps still, they won't know he's there. Him moving around gives away his position. I understand you want to keep mobile, but I'd be sitting down and not moving a muscle in this scenario. SIMSY, no man's land, DA, pick him up and put him down.
Northern shift. ENCE not in it, Razor Edge not in it, N47, FaZe in a really bad spot here. TomiL still desperate on onto this. Here comes the breach. Smoke is still up. He's used that really well to give himself room to walk away from this, but again, it's easy to get lost in here. He's trying to find a little bit of a spot to work with. TomiL, just trying to stay calm under pressure, but they just swarm him. A nice attempt. You're going to be doing the best you can. Calvin Klein going full Assassin's Creed here, going to try and maybe get a point on his way out, but I think he knows his days are numbered. ubah's going to ensure that. And FaZe fighting, even from a very bad spot. Would they expect the Knights to be here too? That's the next thing. I'm not sure if they will. Hopefully they've got that information, and a big push comes in. Squeaky through the fire and the flames, willing to take the punishment to get rid of Raise Your Edge, which they've done to perfection. ENCE really fighting well, but DA is standing in their way now.
Aitzy does some damage, but Snark at least sees ubah. That's a big loss to have when you're looking at a ranged battle from FaZe Clan. ubah with a mini is a dangerous sight. He's already taken out Calvin from the bell tower. And now they're looking for more. The smokes will go down. They'll be hitting them through it as well. It makes no difference to them whatsoever. They'll still fight them. And the FaZe are in absolute dire straits down here on the roadside. So many teams will have eyes on them. And they'll only have so many smokes to work with eventually.
Oh, ENCE are actually winning the fight against DA here, or at least they did the initial damage on 6mo. That's a big put down coming back in for ubah towards Reels. That's going to take some of the pressure away from them.
They got the res on
That's
him?
huge. TRYFFELI's there, Squeaky's there. Hold on, this ENCE fight is really big. They're playing against the blue. Liquid are trying to get involved in this as well. They're going to push their way over. The Knights are trying to find out their way forward. They're now under the gun from CrowCrowd, from FaZe. They're not going to have an easy transition here. They're going to be forced to fight. But here comes a punish. T-Bone going to find Jeems on the way through. FaZe trying to work their way forward. Snark is there though, and he's going to be picked up. This is big play from ubah. This is incredible covering fire, allowing them a way forward, even though basically nothing should have let them out of here.
The man is just disgusting at range. I don't know how he does it, and I don't know how he's still alive. Probably can't go too much further you won't expect with what's in front of him, but to get out of the unbeatable odds at the other side of the road, I'm surprised the Knights let them do that. It kind of speaks volumes about what they're carrying now with the...
N47 have basically walked into Liquid.
Did I just see a grenade go up and over?
Hold on, I've got to be looking at N47 here. These guys are still coming into the PEL, looking phenomenal. I'm loving this. They were in a bad spot too. They were on the south side of the road, not too far off, kind of a similar FaZe position, maybe an easier line to work up from. ABeautflDeath did find TRYFFELI in the end. ENCE are suffering casualties from the extended fight they're having with DA. Liquid wanted to extend towards it, maybe to get a flush on it or do some sort of work to it, but then you saw N47 folding into this. ubah's finally joining in the south. He's coming over towards T-Bone, who's holding that side, seemingly maybe aware that could have been the forced fight coming in. Now Mert's under pressure from the other side too. So now DA's position, even though initially was very good, has suddenly lost some of its weight in value, but apparently the shots have not.
The bullet finds the face and the dink comes through. He might go after the vehicle here, try and explode it and take him with him. He'll be still in the kill feed onto T-Bone, and you can see CrowCrowd. They've been quite smart about this. They're getting ahead of the game before TSM can move. This could be TSM's downfall. The positive side for TSM is that there's nowhere really to hide without exposing themselves to teams further afield. It's a very uphill, open, barren area. And they're making them pay for it. This is a really good move from CrowCrowd to get ahead of TSM. They've been sat there for so long. I understand it because neither team could really move, but now they're punishing them hard.
And ENCE so badly wanting to get rid of DA. They need to do it.
Good
That
shot.
is huge. Gateway suddenly open, kicked open from Rustanmar. Molly comes out, miikaz on the push, looking for the deeper angle. He's got it, he gets denied it. A flush? No, the Molly just saved his life in the end. That could be a revive coming in if the blue's not so close. I think they could have maybe time on it, maybe looking around to see if it's got potential to be picked up. I think maybe a third party from CrowCrowd might deny it. Here comes the covering fire, can't be done. The flush came through in the end. That was just kind of time maybe as they maybe been knocked before, and there comes the run out from TSM. That Molly almost got ENCE in with 3 then. They do make it with 2.
It's disappointing he couldn't get the res off because that Molly actually denied the insta-flush. That's pretty cool to see, and we're seeing a lot more utilities come into play in this game since the adjustments for phase number 3. He'll be slow walking out of the building, just checking his angle because he knows that someone from N47 is still lurking in the shadows, and they're in a one-on-one engagement. Same goes for ubah, how he's alive.
8 kills.
No one else. So, I mean, look at all the individuals we've got. ABe for Liquid, ubah for FaZe,
well, I mean,
Vascu for N47.
6 teams and 10 alive, it kind of paints the picture, right?
Who's the only one before up? Okay, CrowCrowd.
Look at the amount of kills they've had as well. They are mopping up here. Really nice from them so far.
It's a big play to move early and just go for it and send it. They left 2 back. It kind of baited TSM a little bit initially out of the windows. They did look towards where the bikes were going. Circle also has been very good towards them. However, with the individuals that come into play, maybe you could say not for Ibi and Vazku, because they'll be just basically going after one another. But if Ubah or Michael find a scalp, they'll happily take it, get the knock, and it could cause them problems. CrowCrowd again, we spoke about this yesterday. Always the bridesmaid, never the bride. They're a team that sometimes struggles with their endgame engagements. I used to see them in second place time and time again. But certainly with 4 alive, plenty of land to work with, this game should be theirs. But, as is PUBG, anything could happen.
CrowCrowd do have a great deal of the circle. It's going to take a lot from these individuals. And already SKUIJKE being found by Tiikzu. Looking to see if you can spot out maybe Rustanmar. Doesn't manage to get a glimpse on it. The ground's there as well. CrowCrowd have really nice positioning. Ubah trying to work forward. That's a scary man. You don't want to overstay your welcome on that sort of angle. But Tiikzu realizing he has a nice bit of ground to fight from. And actually, they've got great deals of numbers to play with. And Ubah hits the deck. He isn't safe yet. The blue is very close by, trying to do something. Not going to happen. He knows his days were numbered. He's opted to bow out of this one, save the points.
Bottom corner. Ibi gets the confirmation in the 1 versus 1. Comes down to 4 teams alive. 2 solos. You've still got Michael kicking it in the distance. And we said these solo snakes can do all kinds of damage. Ibi also opting to give it up to the blue, but doesn't go out without saying goodbye to Rustanmar. Picks up a point for Liquid. And opts to let the blue do the rest. There is potential here. We could see both ENCE and TSM doing the exact same. It's a calculated risk. That's why they're playing edge. If you're completely out of luck and the damage is done, you'll run towards the blue, deny the point. With 4 players alive, it would take a catastrophic mistake for CrowCrowd to lose this one.
Definitely wasn't going to rain all the time for CrowCrowd. All looking a little bit better now. SKUIJKE out to the blue. Michael might have to opt to do the same. Can he make it away, or is he just going to fire? Tiikzu desperate for the kill, whiffing a bit on the switches. It'll be CrowCrowd with a really good game. High kill game, 4 alive. Comfortable at the end there, up against so many individuals. You felt there was no way they were going to lose that one. Really nice, smart, solid play.
13th place overall in the league standings. Just teetering on the edge of that red dead zone. You don't want to be 13th down through 16th because that will become relegation city. Few players realizing there's nothing else we can do. The solo snakes will just give it up to the blue and says, nope, we won't give you boys any more points. You've already had enough for this game. But a win in the bag and a few kills as well. That'll do well in the overall standings.
I do want to highlight for me there, ENCE playing a really good game. I liked what they were doing, way more aggressive, really good fights. When they were fighting towards DA, I absolutely loved that. That was really, really good for me. But that was the other Finnish team. The ones we need to be looking at are these guys on your screen, CrowCrowd, who are standing by with the one and only Sam.
We are here with CrowCrowd. Thanks, Pansy. The first chicken dinner of the day, moving into the final day, of course, of week number 3. When you take a look at that final circle, lots of solo players running around. How do you handle that?
I mean, pretty much you shoot everyone you can see on the open field, but there has to be some, like mxey and NOOKIE were trying to hold the last of ENCE, and them and me were holding the last guy from TSM. So we have a plan who we hold for everyone, so it doesn't go like 4 guys holding TSM and the ENCE guy can do what he wants.
How much attention do you pay to the pace? Because yesterday, a lot of the Big 5 that the desk had mentioned, they've nicknamed them the Big 5, didn't really show up. Today, it seemed like they came out and maybe were a little bit more aggressive. Do you guys notice that at all, or do you just stick to your own game?
We don't pretty much care what the other teams do. We just play our own game. We try to get into the end game and try to grab some high kill games.
We're almost midway through the phase. You're sitting towards the bottom half of the board. What's the game plan now for the last few weeks?
We were chilling the first 3 weeks, and now we started playing. I think it was yesterday or Friday. We started actually playing the game. We had some issues, but we pretty much fixed it, and I think we can try to reach the top 6.
Fighting talk from CrowCrowd. There it is. They plan to reach the top 6. We're going to take a quick break, and when we return, the desk will break down the first game.
CrowCrowd with the first victory of the day here, as I have not muted. Oh, there you go. It's all sorted, don't you worry. CrowCrowd with the first victory of the day here. Welcome back to the analysis desk, of course, with the Finns. Lots of Finns in that final circle to get things going to start off here on Miramar. And obviously, CrowCrowd comes out on top. A pretty clean-cut game for them towards the very end.
I'm actually disappointed in you, James.
Why? What did I do?
I expect, with this many Finns in the end game, I expected a pun with some finished or something like that. I expected much more.
I mean, you even counted how many there was in the end there.
7 out of 10. Yeah. I'm all about cheering for Suomi, you know?
Yeah.
It's my second adopted nation.
I expected some finish and some finished, some more.
If you really want that, I'll try and do it at some point during the broadcast.
Right? I really want that. I really need that. No, but overall, from the start of the game, action.
Yeah.
Liquid, breached GamerLegion, succeeded. Got the kills. Calvin managed to get 1, but they managed to survive with 3 guys.
So this is the moment that we were talking about. I mean, that's contradicting towards what I said that Liquid has not been doing the past 2 days, right?
Yeah.
They have not been on point with the breaches, with the rotations, with the trades, winning the first gunfights. We saw the exact opposite there, and that's so great to see. It looks like they might be back on track here.
Definitely, James has been sitting inside the contaminant booth at home and making sure the other guys didn't get sick. Managed to get that as well. Na'Vi, fortunate for them, they got eliminated in 12th and FaZe Clan survived and actually managed to get it further into the endgame, but they were kind of so slow and so far outside the circle that some teams gatekeeping them and managed to get further than they did, unfortunate for them. Oof, nice shots by ubah.
ubah really salvaging some of the situations for FaZe towards the end. He got himself a decent placement towards the end there as a solo.
And I actually love that. I actually love how ubah have developed through our phases here, going from being very much a kind of a flanger, more of a spoiler role. He always is one of the players that will be in an off position, but we've seen him develop from maybe only winning 50% or 60% of the game, 60% of the kind of interactions he has, to maybe 80 or 90, and making, you know, entry frags, opening with 1 or 2 knocks, and he's really developed the last half year. I'm really happy to see that.
I mean, I feel it comes down. It's probably down to Lawson helping them out as well,
right?
Making sure that, hey, you gotta stop doing this. You gotta play more with the team itself, even though those clutches are good from time to time. You gotta identify when is it good, when do I need to do it, when is it actually necessary?
Well, let's be honest, though. I mean, he's not the most flamboyant guy when it comes to, you know, interviews or whatnot and stuff like that. But he's basically a world star now, be it PNC or be it how he is able to perform on FaZe. So it's great to kind of see someone like ubah truly rise to that literal world star level. Let's take a look at our results here as we have our 9th through 16th. Only 2 teams go out with the 0-pointer. It's G2 and NIP. Got to step it up, boys, here for the final day of the week. Let's take a look at our 1 through 8, and we see up towards the top here that 19 points going to be coming in for CrowCrowd, 13 points for ENCE. Very important for a lot of those Finns. Actually, wow, there's a ton of Finns in our top 4 as a whole. Very, very good.
How about 11 in total there on the top 4?
Pretty good out of the 4 teams.
No, but overall, it was a good for some of the teams there. We saw some of the teams having troubles, some of the top teams. Now they're doing a little bit better here today, so maybe they just gone home, they reset themselves and know, like, hey, this is the last day of the weekend. Let's end it with a bang.
It started getting colder. I figured it out.
Oh.
The year has started getting colder, and that's when the Finns thrive. Even though it's a fallacy, because in summer it's really, really warm. But regardless, in the south.
I like your
The
speculations there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's how it goes.
I mean, we saw CrowCrowd there towards the end. They were controlling pretty good, I'd say. They're working as a unit, moving together, and they made sure we don't need to take this fight, then we're not going to take it. I'm talking about the one with Michael. They saw him leave the compound, they shot him a little bit, but they were like, we don't need to care about him right now. They focused on Gustav, that was still in the compound, took him out. Then they knew exactly where Michael were, and they knew that Michael couldn't go anywhere. So they started focused on the other teams and just pointed out one by one, this is how we're going to work our way down to the chicken dinner. And, fun fact, they're now part of the Chicken Dinner World Tour.
Congratulations. 13?
13.
13. And we're still expecting, so we're halfway through nearly now, so we're expecting, what, 7, 8 teams to have that.
Yeah, so right now it's FaZe Clan, it's Reciprocity, and CrowCrowd.
Impressive. Another thing I want to point out is now we also saw very much a team that got a home turf circle, GamerLegion, and didn't win. But that was because of a breach. And I would still say, like, it still comes to, if you have a kind of a home turf, very much if they manage to keep kind of a 2-2 split going or something else like that, they would have a good game. Maybe a high chance to win as well, but Liquid definitely shut that down. And I think that's definitely, like, when you get those home turf kind of circles, you really gotta kind of exploit it.
What surprised me with that one was actually that GamerLegion didn't win the fight at all. Because Liquid actually came a little bit one by one to the compound
they didn't
itself.
breach at all.
And, I mean, if you're GamerLegion, you're holding down church. You're going to be ready for that. And you're going to take out at least one of the Liquid members straight away when they're on the way to your compound.
And also, you know what? Like, they could hear that they were pulling up. They were using the loudest cars. They could hear them. We're talking the downtime from getting to the resting and getting up on your legs, like 20, 25 seconds max, right? But the other guys, the two other guys that were close to the compound, they should already be in a position to counter that breach, to make sure you're holding down the doors, and they weren't at all. So they kind of spoiled a little bit for themselves, but also I expected them to get at least more, maybe like 1 or 2 more kills on Liquid, maybe even wiping them.
Yeah.
I mean, they should have won the fight in my opinion.
Agreed, but they only managed to get 1 kill from it. Like, if you don't win the fight, you should at least cripple the team that is breaching you down to like 1 or 2 guys.
And that was only towards the end as well. Sorry.
I know, we could talk about it forever. I actually had another follow-up question, but we do have to move on, of course, as we are done here. Let's go to a short break here, ladies and gentlemen. When we return, we're going to have Miramar once again. But before we do that, let's check in at